Welcome to What is Crypto? I'm Matt and this is Crypto. Today I'm going to be talking to you about KASPA, ticker signal KAS. In the video I'm also going to be talking to you about a couple of bullish things coming up for KASPA, and I'm going to have a special guest on to talk about his take on Bitcoin, the market, and KASPA itself. If any of that sounds like it could be for you, like, comment, subscribe. Also, I've got a free Discord with a bunch of great other creators, 100% free to join. Scroll down, click the link, and I will see you there. Cheers, legends. Let's get into it. To start off with, I'm going to cover a quick bit of news. So last week, Marathon Digital has officially been mining KASPA for over 1 year. If you're not familiar with who Marathon Digital are, they're one of the largest publicly traded Bitcoin miners in the world. So they've been mining KASPA now for over 1 year, which is pretty damn awesome. KASPA has also recently got listed on Coinbase for futures trading. So this isn't a spot listing, but this is a futures trading. So that is also some pretty huge news. And now they are listed for futures trading on both Coinbase and Binance. So all we need are those spot listings to come. Now on a segue from crypto mining, I'm going to talk about something that I've just noticed. Now KASPA is a proof of work. Proof of works need to be mined. Therefore, they have a finite supply. I think Bitcoin, there is only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoin. Now with KASPA, there is only ever going to be 28.7 billion KASPA. So with Bitcoin, you can see that it is currently 94.41% in circulation. And how Bitcoin works is that every 4 years or so, there is a halving, and the amount of Bitcoin given out per block solved is cut in half. So as you can see, it was initially 50, then 25, then 12.5, etc., and so on, so on. So KASPA has a similar mechanism. However, it is a lot more of a sharp drop off. Most of the coins are already in circulation. So for example, there were just over 53% Jan 1st, 2023. Then a year later, there was 76% out. Then 1 year later, earlier this year, there was 87.4% released. And by July 10th, 2026, 95% of all KASPA will have been mined. Now, why am I talking about this? Well, KASPA is coming up to 90% in circulation. So KASPA is now just 5% less circulated than Bitcoin. So there is a huge amount of it already in circulation, and we do not need to worry that there is too much left to be mined. However, mining is definitely still going to be occurring, as mining is the backbone of proof of work coins. But I just thought that was another cool bit to chuck in there, that Bitcoin is now almost 95% and KASPA is almost 90% in circulation. Alrighty, now let's have a quick look at the market. So having a look at Bitcoin first, as Bitcoin is the most important thing to watch when you are looking at crypto. So if you're not familiar, everything in essence follows Bitcoin, and by and large, for coins to move, we want to see Bitcoin break to new all-time highs. So when Bitcoin pumps, altcoins generally pump harder than Bitcoin, and when Bitcoin dumps, altcoins generally dump a lot harder than Bitcoin. So it's pretty key to keep an eye on Bitcoin so you can have a good idea about what the market is doing in general. All right, so I've tried to demonstrate it pretty clearly on the chart. What I'm looking at the moment, we have a clear range that we are trading in between, and when we come down into this green box, it is an area of support. So people will be looking to open longs here. And when we come up into this red box, it is an area of resistance and people will be looking to short the market. So couple of key levels to look out for. I've illustrated this here, that be a little bit more cautious when we're coming up into this red box and be a little bit more bullish when we're coming down into this green box. Might seem counterproductive, I know. What we want to watch for though is we want to watch for a flip of this level. So a move that deviates above, comes back into, and then continues on up. For me, that would be a bullish move, and then we'll play our next level. So from there, once we flip this level, then we'll really be playing kind of in between 99K and 106K with our mid-range at 102K. But for now, we are playing in between 92K and 99K. So really key levels to watch out for. We're currently trading at the mid-range. Exercise a little bit of caution, especially if you're touching leverage. But if we do flip this range and then continue on up, that's going to be looking a lot more bullish for the market. That is just my 2 cents though, but that's what I'm seeing and that is how I'm playing it currently. Alrighty, now let's have a little bit of a look at KASPA. So we're going to go on the 3-day just because we have been in a range for such a long period of time. Well, we have been ranging now for about 464 days. So this is kind of the key lower end of the range, and our top of the range is around that 19 cent mark. We have had a couple of deviations above it and we have had this deviation below it. But by and large, what I'm seeing is that we have been stuck in this range for a prolonged period of time. That being said, however, over the last couple of weeks, we have had a little bit more bullish price action. That is on a couple of bits of good news that I mentioned before. Now, KASPA is one of the picks that I am most bullish on, and I did actually make a purchase yesterday when we were sitting just around that 10-cent mark. So KASPA, super bullish on it. Nothing has changed there. But yeah, just so we can talk about a couple of key levels and what to watch out for, I do want to see us hold above this level around the 10 cents. Then our next level kind of coming up is sitting around that 12.1 cent mark. Then we have 14.7 cents. Then we have 17 cents. And then we have 18.9 to 19 cents. Now, though I still am happy to DCA at these levels, I mean, I purchased some yesterday, so obviously I'm happy to DCA these levels, but we are still trading in this range and we are putting in lower highs and lower lows. So what I really want to see is this breakout of this resistance, retest around the 12 cent before continuing on up, flipping each of these levels. Now, it's definitely not going to look exactly like that. The charts are never quite so perfect, but those are the key levels that I'm looking out for. Really, for me, the most important thing initially is breaking out of this downwards resistance. And as soon as we can flip that and flip our first level of resistance, I think the bulls will be back in charge. And the longer we are in a range, I think the more explosive the pump is going to be. Now, we can have a look at a couple of other charts, which I've looked at before, just to demonstrate that the longer you are in a range, when you do break out, the movement is violent. So let's just have a little bit of a look at Chainlink. We'll go on the weekly. So as you can see here, Chainlink ranged for 525 days. Now the size of this range was about 50%. Now after we broke up from this range, from the bottom level of the range, it was about a 300% move. So if you can buy around the range lows, massive pump up. 50% range and moved up 300%. Now, as you can see, we had another small range here. 98 days after we broke out of this range, the movement was also pretty violent. So once again, 200% up. Now we're talking about Chainlink, which is a massive coin, and this range was pretty small, so only 25%. A lot of coins that have lower market caps have more violent movements. We'll also have a quick look at Ethereum, another large coin. So as you can see, we were in this range on the weekly for about 100 days. Now, after we did break out of this range, once again, massive green candles. And once again with Doge, as you can see, we were in this range for a prolonged period of time, lasting almost 660 days. And after we broke out of this range, bang, massive price growth. Same story with Cardano, same story with most coins. As you can see, ranges can be quite powerful. So although KASPA has been stuck in this range for a long period of time, I'm not too concerned. Nothing has changed with KASPA. Still super bullish on it, and there are a lot of bullish things to come. I don't think it's going to be so long before we do get a tier 1 exchange listing. Binance has hinted at it multiple times, and they've already been trading it on futures for a decent amount of time. So for me, looking solely at the KASPA chart, it looks awesome. However, the only kind of caveat I say to that, and the only cause for a little bit of concern, is just what Bitcoin is doing. As I talked about earlier, kind of coming up, chopping around here a little bit. Now, there is always the potential for a breakdown, a deviation below some kind of FUD. Now, this is obviously not what I want to happen. However, we have to be realistic. This is crypto. Some pretty wild things can happen. These are my thoughts on the market, but I thought, you know what I want to do is for you guys, I'm going to bring on a trader who I respect highly in the space. He's also one of the traders on my Discord, which is 100% free to join. So scroll down, click the link, and you'll be able to chat to us both there if you're not already a member. Anyway, that is Shoshin. So I'm going to bring Shoshin on. He is going to give me his thoughts on Bitcoin at the moment and also his take on KASPA and the chart. So yeah, with that out of the way, here is Shoshin. Cheers, mate. Take it away.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Yeah, Matt, as you've already covered, it's really important to look at Bitcoin. And Bitcoin's in a really interesting position relative to the rest of the market. Now, it is holding up a lot better than the rest of the market. Altcoins have gone to almost zero in comparison to Bitcoin. Like, you know, the drop is significant, but Bitcoin is barely moved. Like, the strength is really, really high. But it also does indicate a little bit of caution because there is a couple of signals on Bitcoin which indicates that it could go lower before it proceeds higher. If that would happen, I do wonder what the altcoin market will look like. So for instance, Bitcoin has formed a high here, come up, and then got rejected on the weekly and closed below this candle. So this pattern doesn't really repeat itself much. So if we actually go back to the last couple of times that this pattern has actually repeated, we have one here, and we have one here. Close below, and then we started dropping. Close below, and then we started dropping. And this is the last two times this pattern has really occurred on a weekly time frame, where it's formed a high, formed a low, and then it's taking out the weekly local high and then got rejected by closing through this candle and forming an order block. That pattern has played out and is playing out. So what I'm thinking is it's highly possible that price does move up to here and then start to push lower. Another thing, and then we also have obviously this inefficiency here, which hasn't been traded into. So we do have a little bit of imbalance. So like it does warrant that price can come back into here, and that's still bullish overall. It's just a little bit scary when you're looking in comparison to altcoins when they've already dropped so much and Bitcoin's traded in this like 5% range. That's kind of scary to me. So you have to kind of position accordingly and just be a little bit cautious. Another thing I really like to look at when pairs are trending is the Ichimoku. So this is really, really good once they're trending. Time reversals is not too great, but once we are already trending, it has some really good signals. So the Tenkin and the Kijun, these two lines here, the further they get apart, the bigger the imbalance is. When you're trendy, you want to be, to go uptrend, you want to be above both of them. At the moment, we've closed below this. And this is starting to form a C clamp, as you can see, a C shape. So the wider this gap is, the bigger the imbalance. So price is very, very imbalanced at the moment. We do have a Y cloud, so price is still very, very bullish, but we may have to rebalance. So you can either chop around here and then this catches up, and these two come close, like we saw in here, and that is now balanced trend and healthy. Or price can go down to it. So this could be support, which is around 80K. So this kind of lines up with this, plus a little bit imbalanced. So this is why I'm leaning towards kind of being a little bit bearish at the minute on Bitcoin. So I'm positioned mainly in Bitcoin at the moment. I do have some altcoins, and then majority of my money is actually in cash or USDT. Price could move higher. Then I would imagine this imbalance would probably get greater. And then it'll start to do that. So could it be a 1, 2, and then a 3 drive, and then come down? So cautious of both scenarios. That's what I'm looking at the moment there. So we just drop down to the daily. Wait for that to load. I did recently just enter a long, so we took out this low here, which was the last week low as well. And then on the 4-hour, got this highest spiking relative volume, so shorters be trapped, and we closed below that. And I entered on the close above this candle here. So I'm long there, and I took 80% off this morning. I'll probably look how price reacts here. If we do get bearish price action here, spike above that, similar to this setup but reverse, I'll probably close most of it. So I've still got 20% open in case this is the bottom, and then we start trending higher. And I've moved a stop loss to break even. But I'm not 100% confident in this going all the way, but it's good to get a set up and then continue if it does go higher. So what's also interesting on the flip side of that, Bitcoin's in this position, it's been ranging, it has the possibility of going lower, but you do have some really, really good projects like KASPA at its like highest risk reward areas. As you can see, KASPA's come here, it's been ranging for a very long time. How long is that? Basically almost, a year and a bit. That's really healthy range. And then we finally came and taken this out, and now we've reclaimed it. So this is basically a maximum opportunity. Like when you're in a range, you have two levels, and you take out the low, you got, and this is maximum opportunity here or here, right? Or vice versa when you're coming down on the short side. So this is that maximum opportunity, even though Bitcoin's that. So you kind of have to play this chart for what it is, but still be in, understand where Bitcoin is relative to the market. Because really understand where Bitcoin is. So this setup, although it's a maximum risk reward, you have to be cautious that Bitcoin has a potential to drop with some bearish signals. We can't just blindly go, okay, all in on this. If Bitcoin was bullish, like really like super bullish, there was no doubt, all the scenarios that if Bitcoin had a similar setup to this right here, the same pattern was being printed, the same scenario, ranged for a long time, taking out the lows, you can long the hell out of this. No issue at all. But you have to be really, really cautious because Bitcoin has the tendency, the ability to maybe drop slightly. Daily hasn't really formed much of it, so we have this resistance here. So you probably want to see something flip that first, and you probably want to see some type of consolidation here and flip that with Bitcoin starting to get a little bit bullish. So at the moment, you could actually start to get in here. Like this is a really nice setup on its own, right? But you have to think about Bitcoin, think about what Bitcoin's doing. When you do analysis, always do Bitcoin first and then adjust your risk on the alts when you do that. So, okay, so imagine Bitcoin was bullish. I'd go 100% in on this. Bitcoin has this tendency to be a little bit bearish at the moment, so I might go half risk at the moment. That's how I play it. But this is a solid project at a really solid level, so you can start looking to get in here and just monitor accordingly, just see what Bitcoin's doing. Maybe take profits a bit more aggressively, but overall, look, I'd be scanning the market and seeing what's out there. All right, cheers for having me on, Matt. It's been a pleasure, mate. Hope we can do this a bit more soon.
Awesome. Thanks so much for that, legend. Pleasure is all mine. Always welcome to come on. Great to have you on there. Some really good insights. Now, as I know that might have concerned a couple of people, I have had a chat to him. He does not think the cycle top is in at all. We've had a chat about a few different things. He is just always preparing for that downside and has stable coins on the side, so he can either look at leveraging when we break out into all-time highs, or he can look at buying that big retest or dip if we get it. If we don't get it, he's got exposure in the market, which is great. And if we do get it, while everyone else is having a bad time, he'll be able to buy those dips. But yeah, for me, looking off the charts and thinking about KASPA where it is at the moment, I think there's just a lot to be bullish about. Coinbase listing it for futures. Binance already has it listed for futures, and Binance is potentially circling it for spot. And it's not just Binance that is looking into it. So Grayscale as well. I talk about this quite a bit. It's not new news, but Grayscale has it in their assets under consideration for their currencies section. Now, to me, that is pretty bullish. It's the only new asset that they're considering in the currency section. So Grayscale, one of the largest asset managers, pretty bullish for them to be looking into it. Alrighty, that's going to wrap it up for me today, legends. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. As always, join the Discord, 100% free to join. Also give Shoshin Trading a follow on YouTube and a follow on X. I'll leave both his account links in the description. He's just starting to grow his YouTube, but he has been in crypto since 2017. Awesome. Thank you so much for watching, legends. I appreciate it. I appreciate you, and I'll catch you in the next one.